Good morning, global family. How are you? We have just gotten back from Miami, so I wanted to touch base with you on this beautiful Wednesday morning. I hope that you're having an incredible day already and that your week is going fantastically. So we ventured down to Miami on Sunday for a couple of eye consultations for Skylar. So here are some fun little updates and some gems because it was a jam-packed few days. So first little remarkable thing actually goes back to the value of paying it forward and making sure that every single day that you are consciously working on creating the world that you want to live in, which means reaching out to everyone around you, even people that you don't know, people that are serving you in whatever environment you are, and people that you can serve at the same time. Making sure that you're gracious and you're open and you're loving if that's the kind of world that you want. The reason that I go there is this time we showed up at what I consider our home away from home in Miami now. It's not the 37th floor, but it is luscious. It is our favorite hotel by far, and we've really gotten to know the staff, and we just love the environment. And I think, as I've mentioned before, it's very sentimental for me too. It was one of the first really, really nice hotel environments that we had. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting in the middle of ants. That's okay, focus. But it has a special resonance with me. So this time we showed up and Skylar and I unloaded the two dogs and me, and we're ready to go to our normal room, which is beautifully adapted for Skylar and my scenario. Instead this time though, the manager looked at us and he said, we're so glad to see you. We have a surprise for you. I said, really? And he said, yeah, I think you're going to like it. So he gave us a key to a room on the 15th floor. Lo and behold, the bellman takes us up there with all of our gear, opened the door, and it was like walking into a movie. He literally gave us the presidential suite. This is the living dining room, little kitchen area was bigger than the townhouse that we live in. It was amazing. And then of course, one of those dramatic sliding glass doors that you see in something like James Bond to go into the master. It was absolutely gorgeous and very modern, decked out. So the little gem here is sow those seeds, even particularly when you have no expectation of getting anything back, but sow those seeds because frequently God universe will reach out and just kind of give you a little tickle, a little sparkle to say, thank you. Yes, you are making a difference. You're making an impact and you're definitely on the quote unquote right track. So go out there and really, really, really create the type of world that you want to live in, because yes, each and every one of us has the power of influence. And I think, as one of the great sacred gentlemen once said, if you think that one person or one thing doesn't have an impact, take a look at the mosquito zooming around your head, right? No matter how tiny, one of us can make a huge impact. So on to our next little bit. So there we were, luxuriating in the presidential suite, and it came time the next morning to head over for Skylar's eye consultations. Now, understand that we went to these with a couple of expectations. The first doctor was the same doctor that actually did the last procedure that straightened the right eye so that it wasn't looking too askew. So the expectation was that she would want to schedule the procedure to now raise the eyeball. Now the eyeball is still paralyzed, so it means that her right eye doesn't have a lot of movement. So the goal is just to have it in a direction where it can be maximum level of functionality. So that's what we were expecting with her, and then we were going to go on to another doctor there whose specialty is the eyelid. And so our expectation was that he would look at the eyelid, and he would make an assessment of when he could do the operation to at least lift it so that it's not quite as closed, because it has been opening, but microscopically it's still primarily closed. So it's the left eye that she really is functioning with primarily. So we go into our first appointment with that doctor, and she takes a look, and overall, I mean, the technicians were really happy because her actual vision in that left eye continues to improve. Actually, the vision in the right eye continues to improve, which is fantastic. And of course, the prism lens was working extraordinarily for her reading and getting rid of the double vision. So rather than have another procedure right now, they decided that the optimum thing for Skylar would be simply to write a prescription for more long distance glasses with that prism lens. So it would give her eye several more months to really recover, and then we would reevaluate and assess whether we want to actually do a physical procedure or whether having the glasses is quote unquote good enough and functionally sufficient for her. So that was a bit unexpected, but great, right? Because we're going to finally now, every single aspect of Sky's life now is without double vision as long as she's wearing the glasses. So went downstairs and we're getting all that ready and then popped into our second consultation. Well, this one, we were really, I guess there were, I mean, I think it's fair to say kind of high hopes, like, wow, yeah, get that back up, and a more semblance of what is normally considered normalcy. So in we go to this doctor, and he's a very matter of fact, you can tell he really knows his game, no nonsense, none of the little prettiness sort of chitter chatter, very direct and to the point, but extraordinary at what he does. So he took a look at Skylar's eye and felt that because there is no movement in the eye, if he were to raise that right eyelid, it would be permanently kind of half open. And since her eyeball doesn't move when she sleeps, her eyes would not roll up into her head, which apparently, I did not know this, but our eyes do that. Even though our eyelids are closed, our eyeballs naturally roll. Hers would not. So when she was sleeping, she would still be there with dry eyes, and throughout the day, every single day, she would constantly be having to put drops in her eyes so that, one, she didn't have cornea damage, but two, just so for the comfort level, which is majorly labor intensive. And of course, it could still endanger the cornea, which could mean that we could be taking her back and they would completely undo that process. So rather than do that, there is sort of an interim, a compromise thing, which would require a second pair of long distance glasses, but this one would be outfitted with this little gizmo. Skylar knows the name of it, of course. She has the mind of Siri. But this little gizmo that would raise Skylar's eyelid when she's wearing these glasses. So it gives her the opportunity, if she feels she wants it or needs it on some occasion, to have it. But if they get tired or irritated, or if she doesn't need it, then she simply wears the other pair of glasses. So it was not at all what we expected. And yet, as we took a breath and relaxed and breathed into it, it became something that was maybe even better than we expected. So the gem out of that scenario that I wanted to share with you is, where might your expectations be taking you out of the game? Had we sat there and said, no, we want quote unquote a normal eyelid, and allowed ourselves to feel kind of disappointed, we would have missed the opportunity to really understand that, you know what, the process is not done yet. We are early in this process, and it may or may not, but my goodness, after all that Skylar has gone through and with the severity of her injury, if the only thing that is left ultimately is that she needs to wear glasses and that her eyelid may not be quote unquote perfect, in other words, her eyelid becomes imperfectly Sky, then who frickin' cares, right? So absolutely, yes, we can't help but have expectations, and we definitely have intentions and we have desires, but there in my mind, there's an even bigger desire that we set out to the universe for the highest and best for us, uniquely us. And I do believe that the universe delivers on that, even when it doesn't quite fit the vision of what maybe we were expecting. So definitely do not let your expectations become the only path that you believe that you can tread. Don't let them take you out of that game. Continue to look for the windows, the doors, the total opportunities. So last but not least, I wanted to share one other little nugget for you, and that is the topic of cleansing. So throughout this, as I got to Miami, that was actually the 5th day I was doing a cleanse of my body per se. So I've been really, I always tend to eat pretty healthily, but this time it was just like super clean to get rid of any of the things that weren't serving my body, to really protect and honor this temple that has served me so well for so many years, and to make sure that all my cells continue to be happy. And particularly, as you know, I go through this time where I'm not always getting great sleep and I can be under a bit of stress. I wanted to make sure that my body feels pampered. So Monday, I realized that I was already a little side effect of this was that I'd already dropped 5 pounds, which was kind of cool, because it's nice sometimes not to be carrying the extra weight that you feel like leaves you a little too grounded, right? But I was thinking about the whole concept of purification, and it's not just our bodies that carry toxic things. It's our minds need to have a detox period to a purification period, where we let go and we cleanse the things that don't serve us. And often it can be thought habits of thinking, ways of viewing certain things, or again, expectations that maybe we don't need to hold on to. And it can even be some of the people that we choose to surround ourselves with or continue surrounding ourselves with. So it's important to cleanse the temple, but also it's super important to cleanse what's within the temple, and to really take a look starting this week at what are you holding inside of your vessel, what's inside of your cup. And I would remind you that if you've ever had a cup with a smoothie, a delicious smoothie, or a cup with an amazing chocolate shake, for example, and you've savored it to the very, very last drop, you've sucked through that straw and made that horrible noise that people look at you. But so there you are with this cup, right? And it has the residual of either smoothie or chocolate shake, depending on what kind of a person you are. So next to it, you have this beautiful glass of sparkling spring water, as pure as it gets, does not get any purer. Also luscious and wonderful the way that it is. So I ask you to visualize, if you have this cup that you just finished your smoothie, and you take this sparkling, pure, beautiful water, because you know it's good for you, and you pour it in that cup without cleaning the cup, are you going to have sparkling, enticing, wonderful, pure water? You're not, are you? Because you never got rid of the residual. So even though at one point the stuff in the smoothie cup really served you well, now it's time to cleanse it and get rid of it, because the time of when it served you is past. So before you can really add and embellish and take yourself to the next level with this new beverage, you have to get rid of what was in there before. And it's really the same with our lives. There are things that we did the best we could when we were living through them, things that actually probably served us at the time, but things that served us when we were, say, 3 or 7 or 14 or 18 or 30, if you're older than 30, or 50 if you're older than 50, may not necessarily be serving you now. So this is an incredible process called life that we live through. But we are meant to expand and grow. We're not meant to kind of drag everything like it's Scrooge's friend with all of his chains. We're not meant to do that. We're meant to evolve and take out the garbage, right? And there's garbage here underneath, as the court writes, called the hairy lid, the trash can with a hairy lid. We're not trash cans with a hairy lid. We need to empty that and make sure that we're setting ourselves up for monumental success. So those are 3 gems for you today. One would be the expectation. Make sure you look at your expectations. Expectations are fantastic because they catapult you forward, but don't cling on to them so tightly that if things don't manifest exactly that way, that you take yourself out of the game. And then, of course, paying it forward and expecting the world to be this beautiful place, because you're making it this beautiful place, and the world will sprinkle these fun little presidential suites throughout your life, throughout your day, throughout your heart. And then finally, this week, it's not too soon. Even if you don't do a cleanse for your body, treat yourself to the pampering of a cleanse of this beautiful mindset, because it is so critical. It is so critical. As the saying goes, when we have our passionate dreams, certain things in our life that we want, sometimes it feels like more than life itself. We believe that we'll do whatever it takes to get it. And yet, we allow ourselves, we tolerate living with that little voice that just spews fear and doubt. And fear and doubt are known to kill more dreams than any disease or any mass murder across the planet. So if you're willing to do whatever it takes for your dreams, be willing to do the work on your mindset that will start to purge yourself of those vicious fears and doubts that hold you back from enjoying life and from reaching your full potential, because it is so very possible when you work at it. So those are my little nuggets for today. Like I said, have an amazing rest of your week. We will continue to keep you updated. I'm going to go pick up Skylar so we can head to physical therapy and rock our world with her new glasses. Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Sending you so much love as always, everybody. And if you have anything that you'd like to share with us, please fill it in down in the little note section below, and send your love out to the world as well. All right, have an amazing day. I'm off and running. Mwah!